Humans are social people, most of us at least, so it's nice to get out in public spaces like coffee shops or malls, I think malls still exist, and just be amongst our peers, maybe working at a computer, getting in line to get some food. In the last couple years though, I noticed a shift in how people operate in public spaces, and it's not a good one. In fact, it's terrible. Today I want to rant about people on their phones and how they don't know how to operate anymore in public settings. Let's begin. Before I proceed, I would love if you could hit subscribe and like the video, even if you didn't in fact like it. It helps in the algorithm. This is a new flourishing channel I want to keep growing, so I would appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about how you're probably watching this on your phone in public without headphones. No, I'm joking. You're one of the good ones. You're one of the honest ones. Here's the deal. Sometime after COVID, maybe it was even starting Richard prior to that, society in general, I guess, decided we no longer need to function with each other in any sort of healthy capacity. What I have been bearing witness to in public are people on their phones without headphones on at full volume listening to whatever garbage they feel is necessary. I had a woman at a hospital I was at blasting her TikTok that had some sermon going on, and I really don't appreciate a window into your life. I don't want to know you in that level. I don't want to know you in that capacity. In fact, you seem really unhinged just by the stuff that person's spewing out. This wasn't a conventional video. This was some crazy crackpot sermon going on. I can't anymore with these people. On a separate occasion, also at a clinic, I guess I'm just at these places all the time. It's my go-to. There was a gentleman. He was not a gentleman. He was a piece of shit. He was on his phone watching, I would imagine, a YouTube short on repeat. I shit you not. This guy had the same looping 30-second song on replay for 30 full straight minutes uninterrupted. I looked over at the staff. They looked over at him. They looked at me, glanced back and forth. Couldn't say anything. I don't know why, if it's a policy not to ask someone to stop being a douchebag, but they didn't say anything. I'm sick and tired of saying it. I do it all the time, and I'm just done. I'm done with it in general. I wash my hands because now it feels like I'm becoming one of the minority people that doesn't go on their phone in public blasting music, being rude, interrupting other people's workspace or just their environment in general. I put on headphones. It's this crazy new concept that came out like a fucking million years ago. Try it sometime. It plugs into the bottom. Now, I know, Apple made it a little more challenging for people in the last couple iPhone updates because they got rid of that good old-fashioned phone jack. There are adapters. There are USB versions. It's not that hard to find them. And if you can't, or if you can't afford it, but you were able to pay for the phone somehow, just go ahead and turn the volume off. A lot of videos have captions. And if you need to listen to that shitty song on replay for 30 minutes, maybe go into your car. Or maybe turn it really low and put it up to your ear. There are plenty of options for you to not be a prick. It's crazy. I pretty much have my computer everywhere I go, so I was able to avoid this situation by plugging in headphones into my own computer, popping those in and listening to a little Olivia Rodrigo. I didn't say I was a cultured person. I did say I had standards, but I do know how to respect other people's privacy and their space, and I feel like that's completely out the window at this point. Completely gone. I'm going to do a separate video on bathroom etiquette and the entire disaster that is the South. I live in South Carolina now, and oh my God, I thought the bathrooms were bad in Minnesota. I miss that. I crave those public restrooms because coming to the South the last couple of years, it's just been an absolute shit show, quite literally in some cases. But I do want to point one thing out. I've noticed an uptick in this as well, and it's absolutely disgusting no matter how you slice it. Every so often now, when I go to have a nice pee in a public restroom, there's a gentleman, again, gentleman, I'm using that word entirely ironically, in a stall, taking what I imagine has to be a glorious shit, and he's listening to his phone loudly. He doesn't care at all that people can hear him on his phone. Like, I'm picturing this guy like, yeah, oh, that's a good video. Oh, that's nice. I mean, come on, people. Can we at least have some self-respect? Can we have a little bit of dignity? I don't care that you're on your phone. Just turn off the volume so we don't have to, like, have a full picture of what's taking place right now. But again, the public restroom thing, we'll cover that in another video. One point, my kids went up to me with tears in their eyes and they said, "Sir, could we get some ice cream?" And I looked down at my little children and I said, "Yes, of course, kids. You can have ice cream." And they said, "Thank you, Papa. Thank you." And we went to the ice cream shop and there was one guy in line ahead of us. And, whatever, he's taking his time. And then I realized after a few minutes that he was actually on his phone holding it up to his girlfriend or something on FaceTime, showing her every single option for ice cream. And he's just slowly going down the line and she's doing some commentary and they're kind of having a back and forth discussion about it. And so I look at the worker after a few minutes and I'm like, "Can we go? Is it okay if we order?" He seems to be busy trying to figure out what he's going to do. And she looks at me dead serious and says, "He's in line in front of you." Are you out of your mind, ma'am? I mean, come on with this. The biggest irony of all of it was after a few more minutes, he didn't even order anything. He was just showing her the options for later in the day. This was like a scouting report on the ice cream. Here's an idea. Here's a bold concept. Come in later with her. Tell her to get off her ass and come into the store. Otherwise, I don't know, just maybe have a private conversation about the ice cream. It's not that deep. It's not that complicated. Instead, you are inconveniencing other people because you're on FaceTime going through the ice cream flavors. They have a website. You can go on there and figure it out as well. Technology has all sorts of pros, and in this instance, cons. There was a small part of me that wanted to say, "Oh, let me help you out with the ice cream flavors," and then break the guy's leg. He drops down to one knee. I throw a couple elbows. I take the phone, I take the ice cream and just start slapping it into the phone. "How about that flavor? How about that flavor? Oh, let me know what your boyfriend thinks." Take another ice cream flavor. Take another ice cream flavor. Did you get all that? Bitch. But I didn't. Because I'm a civilized individual. Subscribe for fictitious violence. I'm a huge movie buff. In fact, my main channel on YouTube is Adam Does Movies. I go over movies every single week, but I will bring up often, I've tried to limit it lately because I'm just so dead inside, people on their phones at the theater. So these people buy a ticket to get in for $14 at this point, and then they sit on their phone at random events during the film. Why are you going to a movie if you're just gonna sit on your phone anyways? Oh, was the movie boring for you? Is it losing you and your precious patience and your precious time? Leave! Or go to the back of the theater. Rosa Parks your ass to the back and sit on the phone so you're not distracting everyone else. And they'll put their brightness up because they're important. They're so important. They need their brightness up. And it doesn't matter if it's in your purview, if it's hitting you in the eyeballs, if it's distracting you from the movie, because they need to scroll Facebook. They need to go on Insta. They need to see what's happening on TikTok. How about see what's happening in front of your face or leave? It's insane. And there's defenders now in this. I get people in my comments like, "Yeah, I go on my phone sometimes if the movie's boring." Fuck you, you go on your phone if the movie's boring. Walk out. Go in the hallway and glance around the corner at the movie. This is so stupid. Stay home and leave the movies for people that actually pay to watch the movie itself. But this is happening everywhere. Even at concerts, people are filming the entire concert sometimes. Like, who's that for? Who's gonna watch that? Your crappy, low-res, in-the-dark camera footage of Taylor Swift walking down singing her 45th song of the night. You have all that footage for who? You know, we're living in a society, or at least we were at one point, but it's crumbled because people are addicted to their phones. They're addicted to being in the world outside of the one that's staring them in the face. So they escape to it. They hide. They don't care anymore about what people think that are around them because those people are probably living on their phones too in their fake digital world, which is becoming their real world every single week now. Meanwhile, regular folks who are still out there, we still exist. We're just trying to maintain. We're trying to have some form of civility. I can't tell you how many times now I go up to a register or I go through a drive-through window and the person handing me my food or handing me my coffee doesn't even say thank you or here you go or anything. They just hand it to me, and oftentimes there's a tip that I'm supposed to leave, and I for some reason foolishly do, even though it's never acknowledged. There's rarely ever a thank you or even a welcome in. It's just this automaton NPC character. Actually, I take that back. NPCs are more polite than the folks I've been dealing with lately. They're just assholes. Or maybe they're not even intentionally being such, they just don't even know how to communicate in a public setting anymore. They just are so infatuated with the world outside of what's happening. This is just a means to an end. It's a way for them to get some revenue so they can go back online. And this isn't one of those like, I remember a time before there were phones. Phones are the worst things ever. No, the phones have their place. They have a ton of great things. I'm filming off of my phone. They're fantastic technological advancements, but we are not prepared for it. We don't know how to acclimate to the phone in a proper way. It's taken over. It's like we're constantly sitting and glued to it at home, in public, every single place you can go now, in the car, on the streets, walking. It's just constantly in front of our faces. And at some point, we got to take a step back. We have to realize that what we're doing is still out there for everyone else to see and hear, and there should probably be a little bit of embarrassment associated. It's okay to feel embarrassed. It's okay to want to put on a good show for others, or at least function in a way that's respectful to others. I've seen dudes walking in like the YMCA when I work out with just straight up softcore porn going on their feet. They're just straight up going through nude photos and just inappropriate stuff. Not a care in the world. Like it's just like drinking coffee. It's a cup of coffee to them. When I was working on my computer at Starbucks the other day, one of the workers was on his break and he had his phone just blasting Fortnite tips and tricks. And this wasn't a young kid. This guy was probably 30 or so. I couldn't believe it. Like, dude, you work here. Why are you being so disruptive? He's got his giant liter of Sprite and his little lunch meal, and then he's just blasting on his phone these stupid video tutorials like, oh, how to get a perfect snipe in Fortnite. Like, dude, put on some freaking headphones. Okay, those are my thoughts on phone users and abusers, and I don't have a solution, really, at all. There's really nothing I think that can be done. It's just spiraled out of control at this point, and we've let it happen. But I had to say something. I had to put my foot down. Let me know your thoughts, your horror stories, people in public annoying the crap out of you. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't. I plan on growing this channel with 1 or 2 videos every week, and then maybe we'll get more into it as the numbers start to go up, or if I'm having fun. That's the idea, is just have fun, talk about loose things that are pretty much first world problems at the end of the day, but I think we can all relate to in some capacity. All right, let me know, and hopefully I see you next time. Take care.